Welcome to Sterling High School, and this is episode 4 of the Varsity Award Show highlighting the 2019 and 2020 season. And I want to thank a special thanks to Coach Shawn Klenk, Coach Kevin Schules for joining us here today for this final episode highlighting the year-end season. So one of the reasons I wanted you guys to know why you're here, the athletic committee gets together and we do the nominations and the voting for these awards. And they recommended having you, obviously, Shawn, because you have such a connection with our student athletes on a daily basis. And I think that's one of the most valuable things about you is just your personal connection and your personal investment and all. And obviously, you've been able to watch. You're probably our #1 fan as well. And then Coach Schules, you're like the voice, you know. Even though we have Coach Strauss, you're probably most consistent just because Coach Strauss, he's behind the scenes today. And you're often there to be able to broadcast our teams and our shows.
My pleasure.
Shout out to Channel 19, Coach K. But thank you for being there for us on the road all the time. But I want you both to know that the coaches wanted you to be here and participate with us in this show. So thank you very much.
Yeah. No problem.
Yeah, so, it's a pleasure to be here. It's nice. I mean, it's nice in the fact that like Kevin and I, Rob, Tad and Dan, they're always involved in everything. So anything that's going to highlight the student athletes, they're always, right up front and ready to take advantage of those opportunities to highlight the athletes. So we're excited to be here.
This product that we have through Channel 19, the TV studio, through our tech education, through Coach Farr, Strauss, Tad, I mean, it's the envy of South Jersey. It still remains that, and what Coach Schules is able to bring, and they hit the road anywhere we go, and it's something that I remember as an athlete. CN8 used to come out, and that was like a big deal if you got your game featured. But here, every team gets an opportunity to have their game featured to the community, and now through the YouTube technology, and it's just great. So.
Yeah, Liberty and Community, as we do, we can actually testify that walking around stores, seeing people in the area, Channel 19 connects, and we hear that all the time. Oh, I saw this game here. I saw this game here. Matter of fact, probably the most comments I always get is like, "Do you have the 1974, soccer game?" I was like, "Well, no, we don't have that. We don't have that." But as far as connecting with the athletes and connecting with the community, it really does make a difference. So thank you, Tad, and thank you, Dan and Rob and Kevin for bringing that all together.
We always joke about, sometimes kids will say, there'll be a close play, they'll say, why don't they have replay in high school sports? And Mr. K and I, Mr. Farr, we always say that sometimes kids, like you said, take it for granted, don't realize that in other schools they don't have it as much. But it's a lot of fun to do. It's good highlighting the kids, and we can't leave out the great job not only Mr. K, Mr. Farr, Strauss do, but the kids. The kids come up big. If you come to a lot of these games, you'll see our tech crew might have like 12, 13 kids manning all the cameras, and they just do an outstanding job, as well as the kids that are in the truck with Mr. K.
Very good, very good. So thank you again. We're going to continue to invest in that. 2021, we're going to add more pieces of technology to the TV19 production. We're really thrilled about. So part of this Varsity Award Show, a year ago we were able to do what we called like an ESPY version. We had red carpet, we called it the silver carpet, and this year's been a little different, but it's been just as exciting to celebrate with the coaches and the athletes. And so one of the things that we do every year is the Board of Education honors the athletes. They approach the coaches, want to make sure that they all get honored. One of our seasons, or one of our clubs, is the cheer club, and the cheer team participates in both the fall and the winter, and they are very eager to be a competition team, and that's something that is one of their goals. But I wanted to note the Board of Education award winners for the cheer program as Rachel Kirk and Inu Udo. So thank you and congratulations to those cheer members. And with that, we're going to move into an award that is given out every year. I think it was started even back under Coach Hiltner as the athletic director. Coach Sheehan carried it, and now I'm continuing it with the varsity Six-varsity award winner. So that's student athletes that receive 6 or more letters throughout their high school career, and we're referring to seniors specifically here who are going to graduate with 6 or more. And just a little side note, this spring we did not count that against you. You would have earned that. We counted that into the total. Now please note that this list is very fluent, and sometimes we miss some kids, and student athletes reach out to us. So please reach out to us if we might have missed you. But what you do receive is this nice plaque. If we'll turn to that, it has the Chanel letter S on the plaque, and it'll have the nameplate, and this is what they'll all receive. And we're going to get that to them most likely over the summertime when social distancing permits. But we're going to recognize those student athletes. We're going to turn to a graphic right now. So here are our 6 varsity letter winners from the class of 2020. We have Michael Adair for marching band, jazz band. Brianna Allen, marching band, jazz band. Paige Anderson for cheer, dance, musical, and Silvertones. Great job. Anna Baker, marching band, jazz band. Colleen Blakelock, swimming, and varsity girls soccer, managing. Doug Bland, his transfer here, but earned in football, track and field, and wrestling. Janasia Brewer, track and field, outdoor track and field, winter track that is. Joseph Britt Simpson, earning in swim, 4 letters, cross country dance, and also our spring musical. Emma Carmody, soccer, swimming, and lacrosse. We're going to make a special note that Emma Carmody is our leading award winner with 11 varsity letters, 11 out of 12 in her career. Shout out to Emma Carmody. Gavin Clark, football, basketball, track. Diamond Free, volleyball, basketball. Brandon Gase, football, wrestling, and baseball. Brandon Grace. Logan Hample, musical and the Silvertones. Raylan Hughes, soccer, winter track, spring track. Dylan Jess, football, wrestling, and lacrosse. Demir Key for indoor track, outdoor track. Great job, Demir. Rachel Kirk with cheer, both fall and winter, as well as the musical and the dance company. Alexis Lambertino, soccer and softball. Kaylee Lamazny, marching band and jazz band. As we continue, we have Morgan Lewis, marching band, jazz band. Tansel Martin, marching band, jazz band. Joseph Matarazzo, also into music with band, jazz band, choral. Kiara Roma, swimming. James Schaefer, jazz band. Jacqueline Syme, marching band, jazz band. Ian Steinmiller, marching band, jazz band. Carmen Whitehead with marching band, jazz band, and the Olivia Williams, field hockey, cheer, and track. So again, these are our 6 varsity letter winners. That's a great list, don't you think there, Coach?
Yeah, it's a pretty impressive list. I mean, you have 27 kids listed there. I mean, it shows you that's maybe 15% of this graduating class. That shows a good percentage of how involved these kids are into the program. And I'm really glad you're pointing out jazz band and marching band. As somebody who's here, pretty much 11 and a half months out of the year covering sports, I can tell you the marching band and jazz band are here all the time. The musical's here. When the time the play comes up, they're putting in 10, 12-hour days. So they're going above and beyond with the hours and the commitment they make to the school. So I'm really glad you recognize those kids as well in this part of it. And having a couple of these at home, it's always nice to have it at home, and the kids leave it. I can tell you that the kids tend to leave these on the floor, but but they're always around. but it's always nice. They always refer back to it, and they always look at it in their rooms. But they tend to put them on their drawers. They don't really hang them up as much. Yeah.
Hopefully it becomes a keepsake. It'll be something when they're married you'll give back to them.
Well, I know as a parent of kids who are in track and cross country, they put their letters on the wall, and their awards tend to be on the floor. So it's really a weird scenario. And I know talking to Mr. Capolino, and his girls were very successful and state champions. They actually do the same thing. They put their numbers up on the wall, and then they leave the trophies and awards on the floor. So it's kind of funny, but it's a very nice keepsake. And it's something that they take with them because every time they go to school, they took them to school, and it sits on their drawer, and then they bring it back home after they come back from college. So it's nice.
Yeah, and when I see an award like this, I mean, usually at back to school night, you're supposed to you talk about the curriculum, but the first thing I tell to a lot of the freshman parents is that encourage your kids to get involved in extracurricular activities, and obviously I tell the freshmen that too, and I think that's something that's preached by a lot of teachers in the school, and these kids definitely exemplify that, and that's the one thing I was thinking about as you were naming those names. And a lot of them, you talk about being involved in extracurricular activities, they're the kids that stay busy, are organized, and for the most part are all very good students also.
They really are the heart of the Sterling High School, student athlete. Being involved in multiple activities or athletics is hugely important. So it's a great award that we will continue, and congratulations. And note that I probably missed somebody, and I forgive me, but please reach out to me right away because I have these ready for you. So congratulations to the class of 2020 and those people recognized for their multiple varsity awards. All right, with that, we have some season-long, year-long awards that we want to recognize. Again, these awards categories came up with by the coaches, nominated by coaches. So we're going to go through some of those awards. We're going to name some of the people that have been nominated. We're going to talk about them, and then we'll let you know who won that award. So our first category is what is known as the Unsung Hero. And we all know who that is. It's probably somebody that has been a vital member of your team, but may have not have gotten the recognition that goes with it. So I'm going to give you the names, and we're going to talk about that. So we have Brandon Sola, Simon Rangthang, Marley Sire, Stephanie Kelly, and Brandon Grace. We got some great names there.
Yeah, I always thought this is the worst name award, because every time you say unsung hero, every time you walk around and you talk to the coaches and you talk to the teams, they're always singing the praises of the kids. It's just generally it's somebody who's not as recognized in the public, or maybe on Channel 19 or getting awards. But when you walk around school and you talk to the coaches and you talk to administrators, you talk to the teachers, they're singing these kids' praises every single day. So yeah, and it's funny when you name these kids. A lot of these kids gave up a lot of personal accolades to help a team. So obviously that's why they fall in kind of an unsung hero category. But these are kind of those glue kids that fit into the missing pieces and make sure that the team can function and go, rather than looking out for their personal accolades.
Yeah, and it's funny, we talk to athletes after games, talk to coaches, and after, a big win, they'll talk about team chemistry. And I really feel like these are the types of kids that really set the tone for the team chemistry, and it all, falls back on what they're able to contribute to the program.
Yeah, excellent. Real selfless type of student athlete.
And they're not self-boisterous too. I mean, you read the names and a smile came to my names every time you read one of those kids' names, because I have a specific memory of what they did and what they sacrificed for the team and to make their teams better, and they made Sterling High School better.
Very good. So our 2020 Unsung Hero is Marley Sire. Congratulations, Marley Sire. Standout in volleyball and has been a part of our basketball program, and of course participates in track as well.
Absolutely, and probably had the highlight of the year during our playoff basketball game, when we had a young toddler run onto the field and in the mix of the action actually gently picked him up and put him on the side of the court so he wouldn't get hurt. And I believe it was actually on the Channel 6 News or Fox News. Yeah. So it actually made the local regional news here. But probably the highlight of the year, and actually it kind of encapsulated everything Marley has: the competitive nature, but also the compassion and the awareness of what's going on around her as well.
Yeah, that would really highlight. That was definitely the highlight. I mean, just how she did it so matter-of-factly. It's like she was in the child care class and just went over like her normal thing, and then went back, played basketball. But just to see her, develop, I think, from her freshman year. Obviously, when you're a center, you're a taller girl in there. They're the last ones to develop, and it takes time. But she really came on, and obviously was a big part of the basketball. That's where I see her the most.
Sure,
and just a great kid too.
And going back, my daughter was a teammate of hers since she was in 6th grade. So I've known her for about 6 years now. She played down at Yellen School and then played up here Sterling High School. And to see, and like you said, to see her develop, and a lot of times when you have somebody who's who tends to be a little bit larger and center, the expectations are always greater, and so the pressure is always greater, and she's always responded to that, and she's always handled those expectations very well.
Very good. Congratulations, Marley. So for 2020, we have a service award. This is like our third year offering this award, and this is for a student athlete that gets involved beyond the field. Not only are they serving their teams, but serving others. They're very active throughout the school. And so our nominees for Service Award for 2020 are Alexis Lambertino, Zeynep Eminent, and Paige Anderson. This is a great group of young ladies here.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you're talking about these. You talk about these young ladies. They're ever present in the high school, and they're always willing to help, and they're always willing to. I tend to look at these kids, and they tend to be a bridge between the adults and the kids within the school. Because sometimes sometimes it's hard to, as a student, it's hard to realize what an adult's trying to tell you, and these kids tend to be kind of those mouthpieces that kind of explain it to their fellow students as well, saying like, well, this is the overall goal that we're looking for here, and this is what we're trying to accomplish. And so these kids kind of help smooth everything out amongst their peers, and they're looked amongst their peers as somebody who, as leaders, So and when you're talking about their service.
Yeah, good. And you'll see, like Alexi Lambertino's been, she's nominated for multiple awards. Zeynep, you can't go anywhere in the building without her, even introducing herself to you. And Paige, just what a beautiful young lady that we certainly are looking forward to hopefully seeing with the spring musical, and has been ever present with our cheer program. Just a great group.
Yeah, kids who just, see these three, they're kids that just are good at integrating with other kids, good leaders, and just personable, just how you strive for your kids to be.
Excellent.
Sure.
Yeah, very good. So our 2020 Service Award winner goes to Zeynep Eminent. Congratulations, Zeynep. She's a participant in our girls tennis program.
Yeah, congratulations. That's a great job. I know she ran a clothing drive a couple years ago, and we were donating clothing, and I believe all the proceeds, I want to say it went to her class, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, we'll move on to a award that we call the Knight of the Year. The Knight of the Year, and this is like your teammate of the year. It's somebody that really exemplifies what it means to be a Sterling High School student athlete. And so the nominees are very good here for the Knight of the Year category. We have Jada Disley, Alexis Lambertino, Naja Satchel, Larry Lewis, Dylan Jess, Brandon Sola, and Connor Sparagowski. These guys, Coach Schules, what do you think? Knight of the Year, people representing the school, these guys fit the mark.
Yeah, there could be, any one of these, all these are tough choices. You have kids that, not only in the athletic part, but or walk by, look in the eye, say hi. And you don't always get that at the high school level. That's one thing I tell a lot of people who aren't in education. I said, when you see kids that have that personal touch to them, in addition to all the accolades and working hard in a different sport, it always tells me that there's a good chance they're going to be successful beyond high school. And you really see that in these guys here and girls.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, there's not a bad name on the list. And one of the things when you talk about Knight of the Year and you talk about these kids is what they set forth translates to the younger and underclassmen. So, a lot of these kids, what you see on these lists, I bet if you look at Knight of the Years in previous years, they were actually teammates of of somebody who was a award winner from previous years. And what they do is they pass it on to the next generation. I think on one of the episodes, I believe Mr. Teen said, tradition never graduates. These kids are the ones that carry on that tradition, and then after their leave, their tradition stays, and it goes on to the underclassmen, and you see it for the following year.
Very good. So excellent list of nominees. In our 2020 Knight of the Year is Lexi Lambertino. Congratulations. She's a 4-year starter on our girls soccer team, leading in the goal. Very tough to replace. and then off in our softball program. But I think what we might miss the most is just her impact in the hallways as a student athlete.
And one thing I've noticed, from doing the games that we do, a lot of times the goalie's just kind of back there and separate from the team, but you can just tell, just by being around the team in games, that as a goalie, she's also a leader on that team, and I think that's a very good quality, very impactful thing. Again, something they'll carry on through life.
Good.
Yeah, and she's also one of our choice students, and the fact that she wanted to come here and then all of a sudden embraced everything about Sterling High School tells you a lot about her, and really leads to what this award is, the Night of the Year. She really embodied that.
Very good. All right, so our next category is a game of the year or moment of the year, something that really stood out. Sometimes we hopefully get that on camera, other times maybe not. But before I give you some of the nominees, anything come to mind, gentlemen, as you think of maybe games or moment of the year?
Well, there's quite a few. I mean, when you look back over the course of the year, you always try to highlight some of the accomplishments kids have. I believe one of the things that popped out on me, there was one goal that Casimir Andre hit. It was almost like a bicycle kick early in the year. It was just like, you stood out and was like, did I just see that? And it kind of stands out. I mean, obviously it's a moment of the year that you kind of see it, but it pops into your mind, and it jumps out. And then there's other situations where it's a team requirement. I know some of the nominees that we have in here show the team, but a lot of the nominees that we have is an individual within a team sport who kind of carries the load and shows the way, and it really stands out. But the one that kind of popped out on me, it was the one bicycle kick that kind of like came out of nowhere. I was like, oh, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I don't believe we got it on camera, and I wish we did. But I don't think that was a televised game.
Yeah, the girls' basketball team. Just a couple different wins. I believe it was Haddon Heights here, and I think the thing about this team is how well they played as a team, and I think that really showed up. In a lot of different wins, a lot of big wins. Obviously, I had LaTanya Barry as your big player. Most impactful player, gone Division I, but the way they scrapped, the way they came back in a couple different games, to me, I don't know if I could highlight any one game, but I think that was something that I always thought about with what they were able to do.
Good.
Yeah.
I thought your Marley Sire picking up the kid really could be a nomination.
Yeah.
That was definitely the highlight
Big time.
play, I think. Yeah,
Sure.
definitely the
Also,
highlight play.
we talked in the winter about Kalen Saballero, how his story and progressing through, and then the moments where he was able to score his first varsity point. That was tremendous.
Yeah, and I know we went up to watch the girls' volleyball game up in Madison, and Madison had a couple. I think they have a D1 college player, and they had a couple other college players. But LaTanya Berry mentioning that was probably the best player on the floor that day.
Yeah, she was.
By far. Yeah, she was pretty special.
A big threat for sure.
Yeah, and one other thing I know, like in wrestling, a kid who came on late, Jakor McPherson, some of the things he was able to do against some accomplished wrestlers, and this is a kid who didn't come out for wrestling until I think maybe like last year was the first year he wrestled, came out late this year, and really was impressive against some very accomplished wrestlers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. So our formal nominations for the Game of the Year, Moment of the Year are girls volleyball's upset 8th seed win over Cedar Creek. We have Jeremiah Davis and Jakor McPherson advancing to regions in wrestling. Top 8 finish by Jeremiah Davis. And then we have Kaylee Sheehan in swimming. She breaks 4 school records in a single meet, 2 individual and 2 relays. And so with that, I'm going to go right ahead with our 2020 Game or Moment of the Year winner goes to Kaylee Sheehan. Again, Kaylee breaking 4 school records in a single thing. Just tremendous effort. And like you said, not only is there that individual part, but the team part.
Yes, and the biggest tragedy of it is, being somebody who's children swim, it's not something that's really highlighted in the school because it doesn't take place in the school.
Right.
So a lot of times you're hearing of the accomplishments, but the kids in the community tend to be a little bit more visual. So, and I mean, breaking 4 school records, I believe 2 of the individual ones were ones that she reset her own records. So I mean, she's a very high level swimmer. She's a high level athlete. I mean, she plays soccer as well. So that's very impressive. One day and walking out of the pool with 4 meets. They said a good day in a cement pond, as they would say in the Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah, a lot of people, and you realize how how hard those girls work at swimming. A lot of them start very young, and how early. A lot of times they start with the practices, and how tough the practices are. But again, that's something. You have kids who swim, you know that. And again, this is another kid who's going to be one of those at least six varsity letter kid at least.
They
big time.
kind of reminds you of the old Army commercial that swimmers do more before 9 a.m. than most people do the rest of the day because they're up and they're out by 5 o'clock in the morning practicing.
Well, for the first year they had that, I don't remember who the kid, the student was, but she was a good student and was. I looked over and she was nodding off, and I'm like, "What the?" And then I realized they're getting up 3 o'clock in the morning for swimming. Her day right now, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. It's half over.
Yeah.
So not just starting, but.
So congratulations, Kaylee Sheehan, earning the Moment of the Year for swim performance. Great job. That leads us into an award that we're really excited about, the coaches really take huge pride in, and that's our College Athlete of the Year. And we had some great nominees here, and maybe you guys can help me talk about these accomplishments of these guys. So we have College Athlete of the Year for 2020, Michael Schneider, Jameer Beasley, Devon Tucker, Andrew Lupinacci, and Elijah Cole. Tremendous set of athletes. Great to see them representing Sterling High School at the next level. So tell me, what do we know about these guys?
Well, Mike Schneider's pretty impressive. I mean, he was a football player here, and he was a wrestler here. But he's one of those athletes that, and this is a good thing to reach out to the kids. It's like, don't give up on what you love to do. He's actually getting better and better as he progresses through the ranks. So I mean, he was a decent high school wrestler here, but he's a very good college wrestler, and he's actually moving on. I believe it's a Division II school now. He went to Camden County to wrestle. Now he's moving on to a Division II school.
And I believe you made it to nationals.
Oh, you made the nationals.
Two years in a row.
Wow.
2 years in a row. Very impressive. Yeah. Jameer, somebody who actually I've seen during winter track meets. My kids still participate in the winter track, but I see him in the winter track, and he was part of a 4x4 team that actually included Francis Terry as well, another former athlete. I believe he was our College Athlete of the Year last year.
Francis Terry was our college athlete last year. Jameer Beasley was our male athlete of the year.
So, but they're actually on the same 4x4 team, and then the same meet. We also had one of our previous runners. I don't want to get his name wrong, but he actually won the 55 meters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it was actually a little Sterling alumni meet when you went there and
When Jameer won, I think he was acknowledged by Rowan as like the breakout performer or something like that.
Yeah.
So he's really having a tremendous.
That's a great acquisition by them, recruit for them, getting a kid who has probably Division I level numbers.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He was NJAC Athlete of the Week, and then that also 4x4 team was an All-American team.
Okay.
So I mean, it was very impressive. Andrew Lupinacci was a soccer player, very skilled, and I believe he was a 2-time captain at college.
Okay.
And very good. And Elijah Call is going to Robert Morris to throw shot put and disc.
And she was our female athlete of the year.
And she was our female athlete of the year last year. And then Devon Tucker, he's actually a 5th-year senior this year. He actually graduated my oldest daughter, and he played at Western Michigan for football. Yeah,
That's great.
Very good. Yeah.
So our 2020 Collegiate Athlete of the Year goes to Devon Tucker. Devon representing Sterling High School in the football program, one of our more successful recents at the collegiate level. He went through injury, battled back, doing 5 years and having an excellent career there. And if you remember, I believe as a sophomore, he played the line.
He played the line. I was just going
Yes.
to bring that up. He played the line, and the thing I remember about him was he was playing guard, and there was a kid from Overbrook. It was right before the half, pass out to the flat, the one that you're always worried about. Of course, the cornerback picks it off, has clear field in front of him, had about a 20-yard head start. And all of a sudden you see lineman number, I don't remember what his number, but it was a lineman number 66, not even having the angle of pursuit, but chasing the kid down and grabbing him and pulling him down at like the 5-yard line. And to me, that says a lot about his dedication, the type of person he is, and just the type of a kid he is who, you know, coming in here, he was probably going to be a Division I level running back. You know, and if you go to a Division I level running back as a sophomore and tell them, we're going to move you to offensive guard, I think in a lot of cases that wouldn't go over well. But in this situation, he just took it as a challenge. The coaches said he was great about it. And again, it goes back to really saying not only what type of an athlete he is, but what type of a person he is.
Sure, and probably one of my favorite athletes here. He also ran track as well, and I believe he was I think he was a sectional championship in the sprints when he was a senior in winter track, and then he finished in the finished top 3 in the state in the 100 when he was a senior as well. And unfortunately, because of the coronavirus, he was actually preparing to go into the NFL Combine, and they were actually going to come out and they were all going to have a draft day where he came out to the school to perform, and he ended up having to cancel it. So I'm not sure exactly where he's sitting at right now. I know he has an agent, and they're trying to reach out and touch base with some free agent tryouts as well. But everything's kind of tenuous right now and up in the air. So, but best of luck to him. You see him, he has an ever-present smile, and he always has a great attitude. And he was always one of those kids who he never actually backed down from a challenge when you went up. And sometimes kids get a little intimidated by who they're competing against, and they say, "Oh, you know, well this kid runs a 10-3, and he's, you know, he does this." And you know, Devon would look over like, "This guy, I'll beat this guy." You know, he'll line up and I'll run next to him. And you know, I specifically remember one track meet out here against West Deptford where they had a kid who was the first team Colonial Conference, and Devon pretty much humbled him. And you know, and Devon came out of nowhere. He was a sophomore at that time, like you said, and he just kind of lined up and then just ran against the kid, not worrying about the kid's accolades and, you know, oh, this kid's so fast. He just kind of went out and dominated. So, and they said he always has a smile on his face, and he's somebody who went to school with my oldest daughter as well. So I've known him since he was probably about 7 or 8 years old, and I've never known him not to smile and not to be a leader.
Yeah, and to what you're saying, took on wrestling and was very good. I think he only did it for a year, but because of everything with football, he's been highly recruited. He was encouraged to go the weightlifting route, for his final year. But man, he was impressive in wrestling. Another guy, you know, I talked about Jacor McPherson, and Devon Tucker, another guy who came out, would go against some accomplished wrestlers. And I remember one, he pinned the kid. Kid had, you know, I think he was like a district runner-up, and Devon even said, he goes, I don't know if my form was that great, but just an outstanding athlete and a competitor. And to what Shawn's saying, not afraid to take on a challenge of something new, because with wrestling, there's so much technique involved that you could be a good athlete and go out there and get humbled. And he even said to me, he said, yeah, that happened to me sometimes, but to his credit, he would just go out after the next one and really had an impressive year for somebody who was doing it for the first time.
Yeah,
Great.
sorry.
Congratulations, Devon Tucker, our collegiate athlete. Thank you for being a great example for our student athletes. Now, I think normally we invite that player to come back and give a speech, so we'll hold you to that. We'll be looking for a speech from you, Devon. So that brings us to the culminating awards of the year, some of the highly anticipated awards, and that's our Male and Female Athlete of the Year. And due to the uniqueness of the year, what we did is, as a coaching staff, we pulled all the nominees that were nominated for male or female throughout the year, whether it was fall, winter, or spring, and all of those went into this pool. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you that award winner, and then we're going to take some time to talk about it. So I'm going to start off with the 2020 Female Athlete of the Year, LaTanya Barry. Congratulations, LaTanya. And I brought actually the NJSIA sent this to us. She was going to play in the North-South All-Star game. So on the table in front of Coach Klenk there, we see her plaque and will be her jersey for that game. And I like the fact that we mentioned that volleyball game where we were able to go up and see. I mean, she could dominate volleyball. Can you imagine just going against her? And then, of course, we knew how accomplished she was on the basketball court, being a 1,000-point scorer this year.
Yeah, incredible ability. I mean, you saw a lot of talent, raw talent, her first year, and I think picked up basketball. What, 7th grade she started playing? Had never played before, but just had great raw ability. And again, like we talked about, Marley Sire getting better each year, and you could tell by the way she played, it was a byproduct of a lot of hard work, and you heard that from the coaches. They said, one thing they always said was how hard she worked, and it really showed this year. And I'll point out, what Shawn said about the game, the playoff game, when we were going against probably one of the high level, and Latanya's a Division I player, but one of the most dominant low post girls in the state, and Latanya outplayed her. She just did what she had to do, and again, same qualities we talked about when we talk about Devon Tucker, not afraid in a big moment, doesn't back down, and it really showed in that game. And to me, that was very impressive and said a lot about her.
Great. Congratulations, Latanya Barry. Thank you for representing Sterling High School as the 2020 Female Athlete of the Year. And with that, again, we go right into the Male Athlete of the Year, where we've pulled together a great compilation of student athletes here. And this one has gone without hesitation. The 2020 Male Athlete of the Year is Demir Key. Demir participating year-round in track and field, and look at that smile on his face. What an inspiration he is, and a great impact in our school. I think one of the things that stood out to me is just always seeing him out there first thing and one of the last guys to come off the track. Always working. I know he spent a lot of time preparing, rehabbing, whatever was needed to be done.
Yeah, he's somebody who took his performance very seriously. He came in as a transfer student, believe it or not. He came over from Woodbury, and he moved in with his grandmother in Somerdale. Now he played. He did run track at Woodbury, and when he first came, I no disrespect to him, he had potential, but there was a lot of raw ability there, but it really had to be chiseled out. And the fact that he accepted the coaching from Coach Shepard and really worked at it. He's somebody who worked at it all the time. Like he said, track and field and the sprints, they're not necessarily, they're not competing in the fall. But I know in the summertime when we come out here and I was working soccer and basketball practices, Demir was getting his workouts in on the track. So I mean, he was putting in that work to be successful in the winter and then into the spring. And that's always something that stood out to me. His work ethic was beyond compare. Really nice job.
It's great. Demir Key, congratulations on representing Sterling High School as the Male Athlete of the Year. And with that, that is our 2019-2020, celebrating this 2020 year, which we will remember for a long time, and these seniors are great. Yes, so the last thing that we need is our Team of the Year. We can't talk about 2020 without mentioning what will be our Team of the Year. So what we do is similar. All of the coaches take on the nominees. Who is that team? A lot of times it might be an accomplished team with divisional champions or group championships, or somebody that really came together. Without hesitation, and all nominees and all voices by the coaches unanimously decided that for 2020, the Team of the Year will be all spring sports teams. So recognizing the efforts of all spring sports teams in 2020. Congratulations, and that goes out to all of those spring athletes and the coaches that have worked so hard throughout this time.
Yeah, and in particular, I know when living in town, and I know going for runs and going for jogs, you've seen. I'm really impressed by the amount of dedication that the spring sports athletes had. You come out here and then you'll see 2 or 3 girls passing around a lacrosse ball. You'll see, kids out there playing soccer, working on their craft. You'll see, you would see boys lacrosse players taking shots on goals, throwing the balls against the wall. You would see baseball players out there having a catch. So they really appreciated what they actually missed from coming out here every single day. I know sometimes sometimes athletes dread going to practice, but these kids really love the sports and they really miss the sports that they were trying to play.
Yeah, I'm impressed, losing, especially the seniors, or just losing a season out of your high school career has got to be devastating. But just in talking to a lot of the kids, the thing that stuck up, and it's kind of like what Shawn said, is how they handled it. I'm sure they had to be down about it, but I didn't really sense that I got a whole lot of pity from the kids. They're just ready. They want to get after it and take on the next challenge. And to me, that's just an impressive trait that I saw just from a lot of different kids and talking to them. And it's another thing that's going to serve them well as they move on through life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's important to note that a lot of these kids, when they actually were playing, going out there and playing, they appreciate the opportunity to play. Living in town, and we see former students all the time. One of the hardest things to hear from them is when they say, "Oh, I wish I didn't quit this," or "I wish I didn't." Yeah. I should have played. I should have played football my senior year. I should have played basketball my senior year. I should have ran track. I shouldn't have quit. So, and you look in their eyes, and you can see they actually missed it. These kids actually relished that opportunity to just go out there and play, and they played for each other, and they played just for the love of the sport, which is kind of nice. And a little message to the kids out there: don't take anything for granted, because, even though you may say, hey, I got another. If you're a junior coming back next year and say, oh, I got a whole nother year to play, an injury or an illness or a coronavirus could take that away. So embrace those opportunities you have right now.
So again, to all our spring athletes, you are the team of the year representing Sterling High School, and how you've championed this time and set the example as we move forward. So with that, now we are officially completed our 2019-2020 season. This is our varsity award show. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me, and it's been a pleasure. Thanks to the TV19 crew for helping us, and again, from Sterling High School, on behalf of the Board of Education, the administration, all the coaches, we thank you, the class of 2020, for this tremendous 2019-2020 season. And that's a Go Knights.